Hello and welcome to Geoscope with me, Graham Hughes, and Ollie Bowlerhatman from
All right,
Yorkshire.
all right, all
You alright?
right.
You alright, Ollie? You
I
okay?
am all right.
Good, good, good. Bowlerhatman just says soon. That's what she said, meaning the wife of Miller, the Miller man, the Gollum guy, who's the Stephen Miller, Trump's right-hand man.
Oh yeah.
That's what she
I
wrote.
was like,
She
what?
wrote
Oh yeah,
soon.
I forgot about that.
And then
Yeah,
it was an image of Greenland with the American flag overlaid. Really grim. Anyway, Tim, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And also, we've got Joanna in there as well. We've got Jenny Davis. We've got Sutton Steve. We've got David Jacobson as well. We've got Hannah making tube. We've got Richard and others. We've got Sarah Davis in there. Hello, one. Hello, all. If you'd like to join our friends in the chat here, well, first of all, give us a like, because we always like a like. And if you would consider giving us a subscription, that would be absolutely epic and awesome. And hit the bell notification icon, because, shit and giggles. Okay, so today we're talking about the death of NATO as we know it. And so Trump is, decided that him and his busy mate, uh, Vladimir Putin, have decided that NATO is not in their vested interests.
yeah. I mean, it's interesting start to the year again, really,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes.
Um, yeah. I, I I don't think anyone had this on their 2026 bingo card.
What, Trump
You
invading
know?
Greenland? He did make noises about this last year, and also in his first term, he mentioned
Yeah.
he wouldn't mind invading Greenland. Everyone's
Yeah,
like,
I just
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, just before we came on air, I was just telling you this is pretty much exactly what we were talking about this time last year,
that's really something.
which is again kind of really weird
Yeah,
about all that.
and what was happening 5 years ago to the day, some deranged sex offender ordered a mob of his fellow paedophiles and wife beaters to burn down the American Parliament building and murder the elected parliamentarians inside, including his own deputy,
Yeah.
including his vice president. Thankfully, the gruesome child molester has since been brought to justice for his crimes, including $3 million of property damage, 150 police officers injured, and 5 dead police officers. And he's serving a term now of between 500 and 1,000 years in a federal penitentiary. I'm only joking, he's rich.
Yeah.
He's actually the president again. And yeah, it's really fucking grim. Anyway, so who is the US trying to purchase some ice-ready Navy ships from? That's from Tim. Thank you very much for the super chat. Do you mean ICE as in the enforcement of immigration or whatever it's called? The immigration something enforcement.
Oh
Um,
no. Oh yeah. He's trying to buy these ships from Finland.
is he trying to buy some ships from Finland? Is he trying to buy some icebreakers
Yeah,
from
he's trying to buy
Finland?
some icebreaker ships with Finland.
Because apparently America's only got 2 icebreakers.
Mm. Which again, if you are gonna you know, claim Greenland,
Yeah,
uh, you kind of probably need a bit more.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Purely
Uh,
for the fact you need to keep a lot of those ports running.
yeah.
Because a lot of those, the fact that I think there's only like two, I think, in Greenland that can actually like operate all year round. I think the rest have to be pretty much
Yep.
constantly like they have helicopters like just drop dynamite to like break up the ice, and you have like the icebreaker ships, clearing it away. But yeah, I think there's only like two, I think, functional ports that are like ready all year round. I think the rest have to be constantly cleared from ice to have any sort of use.
Wow.
Um, Not only that, but airports as well. Can't really land in a blizzard, you
No.
know, depending on the conditions there. So
Well,
it's
I was talking about it this morning. I mean, the citizens of Greenland and also the Danes, they are trained. The people who the military and stuff up there, they're trained for this super icy cold weather environment, which is really, really inhospitable 9 months of the year and pretty inhospitable for the other three. And yeah, like I said this morning, I said I can see them just doing raids on the American bases now and again, just turning up with some fucking drones and taking some things out and then running back. This is going to do Trump no good whatsoever. It's going to do the American economy no good whatsoever. The only person who will benefit from Trump's invasion of Greenland will be Vladimir Putin, because it will result in the end of NATO.
Oh, it's how it all plays out. How it all plays out. I mean, a lot of people have been saying today, and I'm sure everyone's been seeing this. But I think the most likely scenario would be if Trump takes NATO. Bear in mind there are already American bases there.
What do you mean takes NATO?
Well, no, he takes Greenland, shall we say?
Yeah, sorry.
So what would effectively happen would he'd be go in and basically annex Greenland. We'd have to put boots on the ground.
Yes. Well, there's already boots on the ground. There's an American fucking base there.
Well, exactly. Yeah, there's American bases there, right?
His excuse for it is the Chinese and the Russians are building up that. Yeah. NATO. I mean, the Danes are part of NATO. It's part of the Danish territory, right? It's part of the Kingdom of Denmark. And they share all the information they get about any kind of submarine movements or ship movements. And you got a fucking base there. I mean,
there's no need to do this, because everything you can, he quote wants, you can do if you work with your allies.
Yeah.
And this, I think, is what is really is the US is going to find it pretty much has no friends. At the end of the last Trump term, pretty much Trump had frayed pretty much every single foreign relationship that they had. And Biden's first big speech, if you remember, was we're back. America's back. Normalcy has been restored.
Yeah.
And mostly because now, purely because of the MAGA movement after the first administration, they all got together and said, right, we didn't achieve anything we wanted. That's where the whole plan, Project 2025, comes in. This is where they've now stacked the administration with people who
sycophants
are willing to do all this, crazy, wacky stuff.
Yeah.
And the problem then becomes is that there's no adults in the room.
Yeah.
And how we went to Trump last time was our diplomats did not go straight to Trump. They went to the people around Trump, to those sensible adults, and they talked to them, and then they would talk Trump down. The problem now is, from what we've heard, is it is wagon circled.
Yes.
They will not talk to anyone unless you are in the club.
Yeah.
If you ain't in the club, you ain't not even talking directly to Trump. You ain't even talking directly to one of his, people who's around him. They ain't interested.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be, influenced or anything like last time that led to their failures, but or at least their perceived failures from the first term.
Yeah.
So it is I really do think it's a lack of understanding of why America is powerful, why America does diplomacy, and why you even engage in diplomacy in the first place. This is Billy basics of governing and running a country, that it might be a good idea to have good foreign relationships with other countries, because a lot of America's power does come from having those networks of alliances. It comes from being part of NATO. Yes, it's got a big army, etc. But are you going to just go and just start operating without other countries? What as we've seen, since the yoinkening, I don't know, should we call it the yoinkening? I don't know, from Venezuela. Everyone has come out and spoken out against it, and I think people are just what? How on earth do you respond to this when someone has just gone and done this completely against international rules, laws, and regulations? And I think to some people out there, people aren't. They want a stronger response, and in a way, the best way to get that stronger response is to trust in international rules, trust in international law, and let the courts go to work. Now, unfortunately,
Yeah.
that takes time.
What
That
courts?
takes time to
What
do.
courts?
So, well, this will be the courts in America, and this is where again you need the Democrats and you need Congress to act
Yeah, but they're not
more than
going
anything.
to. They're never going to.
So,
The
well,
Democrats are
this
never
is
going to be in power again,
yep.
and the
This is
courts are
this is
all
where I
in
think this is
the
where
fall of
the
Trump.
countries need to start not like rallying Trump. They need to start like rallying and saying to the Democrats, "Hey, what are you doing? About this? Why aren't you acting? Uh, about
Well, they're
why
too
aren't
busy
you
feathering
acting
their own
against this?" I think
nests.
this is what they've got to. This is what they've got to galvanize them now,
I don't think they can, Ollie.
and that's where
Oh,
I think a lot of the comments should be directed.
I genuinely don't think they can. I think America is just too far fucking gone. I think what we need to be looking at now is specific ways to hurt America, hurt the American economy. And there's a few things we can do. But first of all, I'm going to say thank you to Brad W for the £2 super chat. Eskimos now have 300 words for "we're fucked." Umka, thank you very much for the €5. Time to dump US treasuries and put proper taxes on US corporations in the EU. Absolutely agree, Umka. Tim Ballum, American guns don't work in Greenland in winter. That is absolutely true. They're not made to work at minus 40 degrees. And Umka, thank you very much for the £5 super chat there. America only understands money. We must hit it with the money, crash the US dollar and the US economy. Now, the issues there are the fact that the US, if you go after the government, get by dumping our bonds that we own, and we own a fuckload of bonds between the UK and the Cayman Islands, over $1 trillion worth of bonds that we have that we could sell. That would also hurt us though, and also it's
Yeah, this is again what I think what a lot of people
it's the
don't
reserve
understand as
currency.
well.
It's the
You know,
reserve currency of the world. They can print more money. It's not Mugabe in the 1990s to 2000s, printing out $1 trillion bills. It won't get to that because they can control their economy and their currency in a way that other countries just can't. But I'm not saying we shouldn't pursue that somewhat, but I think that what we need to be doing is setting up institutions now in Europe, and one of them is already going ahead, which is Visa and MasterCard. They're going to have a European version of that. They sorely need that, a European way of electronically transferring money between bank accounts. We need that urgently, desperately. We also need things like, we could, if we were going to be really sneaky about it, we could say things like, well, this piracy is really bad, isn't it? People just pirating all these American films and American TV shows. But then there's countries like, I don't know, Vietnam, Costa Rica, where, piracy is not illegal. Just saying. I mean, but anything that we do to them, we'll take a hit as well. Which is unfortunate.
I think that's what something I want to stress. Just because it sounds like a good idea, of doing something like this, America can equally hit back, if not harder, just because of the economic position we are in. Remember, of course, the 2008 financial crash started by a banking problem in America that rippled out.
But that's why I'm saying that kind of thing, you could do a little bit of it, put the pressure on a little bit. But while we're doing that, we need, in a hurry, to be making new institutions in Europe, Europe-wide, invite everyone in, whether they're part of the EU or not, and have this club of nations. Because let's not forget, we are bigger than America. Everyone seems to forget.
You mean like the US?
We look at the map and we go, oh, the Europe, it looks dead small on the map. Yeah, but it's over 500 million people in the EU plus the UK, and then you got more people who live in Europe but aren't part of the EU. I think we've got like more than double the population of America. We have got a lot of infrastructure that is already down. We've got a lot of cities and ways of getting around and stuff like that. that have already been made, and we can build on that. And it's maddening that all this time we've played nice with America, and I think we've got to start being a little bit cloak and dagger, to be honest with you, and setting these things up for ourselves. So another example would be our nuclear weapons. At the moment, we control nuclear weapons in terms of we pay for them, we can decide who to blow up with them, all that kind of stuff. But the servicing, the maintenance is done by America. I believe that the codes, not the codes, but the programming for these weapons is American. Whereas the French don't do that. The French, it's all self-contained. In fact, they just decided in the 1960s that they don't trust anyone. And they were just going to make their own nuclear weapons and not involve anybody else. The British were too trusting that the Americans would do the right thing. And the Americans democratically chose to do the wrong thing. I mean, electing Trump the first time, that was bad enough. But electing him a second time after his fucking animals went into their parliament building and smeared shit all over the walls, and then he pardoned them all. They fucking tased the police officer. There's footage of it. It's horrific. Yeah. And he's done stuff that if it was a Democrat doing it, if it was a black man doing it, if it was a Muslim doing it, they'll be up in arms. It'd be World War III. They'll be baying for blood. But because it's this very, very wealthy billionaire, oligarch, Nepo baby scumbag, they're like, oh, one day I might be a Nepo baby. Anyway, Umka says, rallying is too late. The US democracy is broken, which I agree with, Umka. This is why I'm thinking, oh, yeah, NATO as well. I think we need a new NATO.
That's easy. Okay, that problem is very easy. All we do is we kick America out.
Then it won't be NATO anymore.
Well, it's still NATO. we just the name doesn't really matter, but the that is very easy to solve. All we do is we kick America out. Yeah. There is nothing stopping us from doing that as countries. One thing that actually I'm really glad that there's been happening, because this has sort of got covered up a bit. I always said if Donald Trump gets elected, what's going to happen to the UK? Well, guess what? We're being pushed closer and closer to Europe. We have a poll that just came out very recently that showed we were more in favor. We were at 50% of rejoining as an EU member, even more so than people in France and Italy, which again, funny. Dramatic turnaround indeed on that one. But we've just seen, of course, today, Starmer is going to put through a bill that is going to give, or at least put the UK in dynamic alignment with EU rules and regulations.
Yeah.
Every moment, the more crazy Trump gets, the more and more we just get pushed closer and closer to Europe. Our entry back into the EU is pretty much inevitable now. It is just a matter of when at this point.
Well, that's something that Trump's done. He's accelerated our return to the EU.
Yeah,
our return, because
very very much so. Very very much so.
Thanks, Don. But yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I don't think that getting America out of NATO is going to be that easy, mate. I think it's going to be a bit.
No, it's very easy. We just go we all get together. We have all the other European NATO members have a quick powwow, and then we just go, we are voting to boot America out.
I don't know if they can.
That's it.
I don't think
that is literally it.
I don't think they can. I don't think they can boot out a member.
Yes, they can. You've got to have a majority vote.
Yeah.
On it. Which again, if it's America and with this, it probably be pretty easy.
What I was thinking, what they'd have to do is they'd all have to leave NATO en masse and make their own company, their own thing.
Biggest problem with that is that NATO exists already as treaties, alliances, etc. It's all there. It's already made. So when someone goes, oh, let's go and make our own, well, okay, what does that look like?
Yeah.
How do you do that? You've got to go all the treaties. Some countries, remember, to join NATO, had to have a referendum. They have to go through Parliament. That is not necessarily the quickest thing to do when NATO already exists and we can just boot out America,
I, I'm
keep
I'm
everything
I'm
as it is.
looking at it. I can't see any article or anything about kicking them out. There doesn't seem to be an explicit rule or provision for expelling a member state. I think they're just gonna have to. I think we're all just gotta leave and make our own club called Cato or something, and it's everyone but America. I think that's what's gonna have to happen because otherwise it's all down to like voluntarily withdrawing from NATO. I don't think they envisage this ever happening. This idea that a country like it will, and of all the countries, it might have been Hungary that gets taken over by a mad twat like Orban, but they didn't expect it to be America. Because
Yeah,
I think
so they can.
make a new one, but without
Yeah, they
America
can have a
or
suspension in practice.
Hungary.
That is what essentially you know we could do. We could essentially politically isolate them from NATO. We can sideline them from participating in it. We can do that by again consensus. So that can basically just block any and all cooperation with them at that point. We can also have an informal military exclusion as well. So no more intelligence sharing, joint exercises. We can take away like the leadership roles in NATO and things like that. And then obviously at that point we can pretty much pressure them to withdraw. But you've also got to remember we have clear indicators from many of Donald Trump's like closest allies and friends.
Yeah,
They don't want to be in NATO anyway. So
yeah.
if we
They
start
want to
doing
be. They
that,
want
they
to
will
be.
probably bail
They
at
want
that
to
point.
be closer to Russia. I mean, they want to be part of Russia's sphere of influence. Trump looks up to Russia like a child looking up to the school bully
Yep.
and going. And Tim Ballum, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. It's very kind of you. Ban PayPal. They've broken the law, so fair game. Yep, that could be something that we do. And Tim Ballum, £2. Close Fairford, US screwed. I think that's Fairford, an American base here in the UK, I think. Also, when it comes to American companies here, we can tax them properly. We can put specific taxes on certain goods and services from America. We can encourage a boycott of American goods and services. Get people to drink Iron Brew instead of Coca-Cola. But I mean, one of the big things is going to be communication. I mean, it's going to be TV, films, media, music. If we say, we're not going to pay any money to any American artists anymore, and we're not going to pay any money to American studios, we're not going to pay any. I mean, if all of Europe got together and did that, America would be fucked. And Trump can whine all he likes about the trade deficit, but I mean, the reality is like. I can't say they need us more than we need them or vice versa. It doesn't quite work that way, but we can still inflict a lot of damage on the people, specifically targeted on the people who got Trump into power.
Yeah, I mean
Ban Twitter,
that would be something
ban
to
Facebook.
Start sanctioning the Trump and his family as well and their cronies. That would be something to do. I wouldn't actually be too
Nationalise his golf
surprised maybe if
courses.
we start seeing that. It wouldn't be too surprising if we start maybe seeing that.
Yeah.
But it is possible, I suppose, but
yeah,
we'll have to see. The big, of course, question is let's as we say this happens. Trump takes Greenland. The nightmare scenario is that Putin tests NATO at the same time.
yes,
Or does something very similar at the same time. And we've talked about this before. Like, there's a city like right on the border with Estonia and Russia called Nara.
Narva.
Yeah, Putin could just go in and just go, that's mine. I'm not taking anything else. I'm just, this is mine now. This is where the new
Test it.
border is, just around the city, and just test NATO. There is a good chance that is potentially the scenario that could play out because Putin would probably take
And
advantage
then
of
we'll
that
be fighting a
if that
war
NATO
on
crisis goes on.
two fronts: the Yanks in Greenland and the Russians in the Balkans.
Yeah,
Baltic. Sorry, the Baltic.
I pretty much think at that point
Sorry, I
what would
said
probably
Balkans there. I
happen.
meant the Baltic.
Again,
States.
my ultimate guess is that we would probably go, you can try and hold Greenland. Good luck. The people of Greenland are going to probably have a lot of very passive resistance and not going to play ball with you during that time. But the bigger threat initially to deal with would be Russia. I've said this many a time before. Like, us, France, Germany, Poland, Finland. If we just got together, we could pretty much take care of Russia, and not all that, but if the rest of Europe joined in as well,
there wouldn't be anything left in the morning. It went down the front lines in Ukraine and just bombed the shit out the front lines. One night, all our fucking firepower, everything that's coming to the best before dates on our munitions. Oh, we've only got a few more months before we can.
I mean, you've got to remember, Poland has surrounded Kaliningrad with what they call the HIMARS system. They bought like a load of HIMARS systems from America, and basically like go, we'll just surround Kaliningrad like that, just surround them. So yeah, that would fall pretty quickly. And you've got to remember now that the Baltics is pretty much now NATO's lake. Since Finland and Sweden have joined, they're obviously part of NATO now as well. So that's the whole thing. And if you really want to go the whole kit and caboodle, then what we also should be really looking at is starting to look at forming a United States of Europe.
Yes.
That is now something a lot of us, and I think something that not many people have seriously put forward, but we should actually start seriously thinking, like, how would the EU work as a organization that, rather than organization, is a proper governmental organization where it has a single foreign domestic
Gammons would hate that. The Gammons would hate
economic policy.
It'd be amazing. That'd be fucking huge.
That is what we should probably as like Europeans start looking at. That is it. If we want to really protect Europe going forward into this new age of anarchy, then the real way to do it, the real way to protect Europe, is to have proper political, economic integration.
I'd love to see that happen in my lifetime.
That is the way. That is, again,
just for all the
probably still a long way off.
Yeah,
but it is something that we should actually properly, I think, start to seriously consider.
Tim Ballum, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. That's very kind of you, which actually triggered a little while ago. Sorry, we were talking. The confetti cannon. 3, 2, 1, confetti. Confetti. Yeah, thank you, Tim. We've had a couple of super chats since then as well. We've had Brad W. Thank you very much. Sanctioned DFS. Is that the vice president? And whoever does Trump's makeup. That's probably DFS. And David Faulkner.
DFS.
Yeah.
I mean, just think, no more January sales at DF.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you hear JD Vance and Erica Kirk had a threesome on a couch? Anyway, David Faulkner, thank you very much for the 158 Hong Kong dollars. That is fantastic. Thank you so much, my friend. Let Ukraine, Russia, and China join NATO. Take everyone's security concerns into consideration. Transform enemies into partners. Make preparations for strategic peace. Work with adversaries. Pivot towards the east. My view. I mean, I think didn't NATO offer for Russia to join?
It was offered back in like the 90s.
Yeah, and Russia was like, no thanks. You're a gang set up against us. But yeah, I don't think that Russia's ever given up I mean, a NATO with Russia in would negate the point of NATO, really. And maybe that's why we do need a new kind of defense organization where the members of it are going to treat each other with respect, which we're not getting from America at the moment. We're not getting any fucking respect at all. And Blue Badger says, Graham, it was with the couch, not on it, lol. Yeah, that was the joke, Blue Badger. They had there was two of them, and they had a threesome on a couch. Yeah, I don't know why I bother. Sorry. I hope Trump develops RSDS, says the Davinator. What's that? What is that? What even is that? Jack Russell's for you. So they only put on YouTube to see if the orange Mussolini had carked it. You can imagine my disappointment. Going back to bed. Fuck 2026 is shit already. Yeah, because he's still alive. Russia is quite good at SAMs, so I have suspicion Graham's plan would be ungood. Surface-to-air missiles. Surprise attack, just when they're least expecting it, and get do it in collaboration with the Ukrainians and get them to fly thousands of drones over them. So they're trying to get targets on the planes flying overhead, and there's a lot that could be done. There's a lot that can be done. Russian sudden death syndrome, says that. Okay, is that like going out of a window? Yeah. Why the hell did Americans vote Trump back? Unbelievable. Plum, because Americans were bored. Boredom and loneliness drive people to do crazy fucking shit. People were bored. Simple as that. They wanted their politics to be more exciting. They hated opening the internet every morning and not seeing their president had done some fucking crazy batshit insane thing. So they were upset by that. So just moving on, not really from this topic, but what do you think of the joint statement that came out with Starmer and the other members of the of NATO saying, hands off?
What needed to be said, honestly. I mean, yeah, as we said this time last year, we were talking about this. Would Trump be foolish enough to do this? And it all goes to the fact that the yoinkening has, happened and taken place in Venezuela. That people have now gone, is he actually serious about taking Greenland now? Is he actually going to do it?
Yeah.
Like that's the problem. This in a way it's not even, I want to call it madman theory, but it's not even madman theory, is it? It's
no, because he says what he's going to do, so he is quite predictable in that he says he's he puts the ships all around Venezuela. It's obvious that he's going to do something to Venezuela. He's going on and on about taking Greenland. Stephen Miller has been interviewed on American TV, going on and on about how the Danes don't deserve Greenland. Well, I mean, does America deserve American Samoa? Does it deserve the Guam or the Northern Mariana Islands?
Let's go take back the 13 colonies.
Puerto Rico?
Yeah, let's go take back the 13 colonies. They were ours anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but that's something that we could definitely not taking back America, but being able to say that these that having the power to stand up with our other allies in Europe. I can actually read what's been said. So this is a joint statement on Greenland by Macron of France, Merz of Germany, Meloni of Italy, Tusk of Poland, Sanchez of Spain, Starmer of the UK, and Prime Minister Frederiksen of Denmark. And they've said Arctic security remains key priority for Europe and it is critical for international and transatlantic security. NATO has made clear that the Arctic region is a priority and European allies are stepping up. We and many other allies have increased our presence, activities and investments to keep the Arctic safe and deter adversaries. The Kingdom of Denmark, including Greenland, is part of NATO. Security in the... I mean, why do they have to... We're at the point where they have to spell this out to the American president because he doesn't seem to understand. Security in the Arctic must therefore be achieved collectively in conjunction with NATO allies, including the United States, by upholding the principles of the UN Charter, including sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the inviolability inviolability of borders. These are universal principles, and we will not stop defending them. The United States is an essential partner in this endeavour as a NATO ally and through the defence agreement between the Kingdom of Denmark and the United States of 1951. Greenland belongs to its people. It is for Denmark and Greenland and them only to decide on matters concerning Denmark and Greenland. Yeah. Tim Ballum, thank you very much for your £2 bet there, which is Mexico, Canada, and then Greenland. It's Tim's bet. You betcha. I mean, what can he do with Mexico? Is he going to say, "Oh, there's drugs there, there's gangs there"?
I mean, this all goes to, this is what goes to happen to Venezuela. I mean, right now in Venezuela, the deputy has basically stepped in. I can't remember her name now, but she's a huge, Hugo Chavista supporter. She's massive into that. Will she play ball with America? Who knows? Who knows? Honestly, what's going to happen in Venezuela now? Trump has said that they, quote, are running Venezuela.
Yeah.
How are you running Venezuela without troops on the ground? We don't know what is going to happen next. We don't know if there is going to be an agreement there or not. Who knows? In Mexico, Trump has talked about doing this before, about not only bombing cartels, potentially, but occupying northern Mexico. Just like moving the troops in, just saying, this is, this might be the border, but, we're making you demilitarized zone where this is where we operate. That is something maybe that could happen. That was in a potential Project 2025 idea. But we don't know if, for example, they maybe try and remove, is it Claudia Schifferbaum? I think Scheinbaum, think's her name.
Yeah, Scheinbaum.
So she is, bear in mind, hugely popular in Mexico.
Yeah,
hugely popular. There is no way, Trump would get away with like a second yoinkening in Mexico. Mexico's a little bit more developed than Venezuela. It might be able to sort of, deter that type of operation potentially. But how do you get rid of her if you, quote, she's not the someone you disagree with, like she's unagreeable to the American state? We don't know. This is the whole can of worms that Trump has opened up. It's the new world anarchy now, and we don't know potentially what's going to happen next. And in a way, that is also, as a lot of people have said this, since it happened as well, this is sort of part of the plan as well. You just have so much, chaos and anarchy happen that people aren't really sure what you're going to do next.
Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows? Cuba is threatened as well.
Yes, but
in Colombia,
this is the thing though. Like they just literally say, right, we're going to go in because this guy is a narco terrorist. He's doing terrorism things. He's doing drugs. He's selling drugs to American teenagers, and they're overdosing on these drugs because of all these drugs coming in. Just after pardoning the former president of Nicaragua, who was also done for the same thing, or was it Honduras? Maybe, I don't know. He says this, and then immediately afterwards on Air Force One, or the plane he was on, he's like, "Oh no, it was for the oil." And then Lindsey Graham standing there going, "Oh, it was because of all the drugs. It was because of democracy. We wanted to get the democracy." And he goes, "Yeah, and the oil." Don't forget the oil.
Don't forget the oil.
And we gotta get the oil. We're gonna get all the oil. We're gonna dig all the oil out the ground.
Oh.
And then another one of his clowns is standing there going, "Oh yeah, not just oil though. Minerals. Minerals are gonna get those rare earth metals."
Oh yeah, got to get the minerals. God.
And you're like, okay, wow.
Although I still don't understand because there's a lot of other questions like, oh yeah, apparently like the US oil companies are like gonna go in, they're
Yeah.
gonna like spend money, and then they're gonna get reimbursed for the money they're spending. Like what? What? The the next couple of
Honduras,
weeks,
sorry, not. So take
the
it back,
next couple of
Nicaragua.
weeks in Venezuela are going to be very, very um interesting to watch because there were talks that Maduro was actually trying to work with like Trump to do stuff, but I think that they did this
Mm,
because if they talked with him, if they actually dare engaged in diplomacy, well then that's not quote strength, and I think it's more of a signal that they can send to try and bring not only the new Venezuelan regime into line, but try and bring other regimes in that area into line as well, saying, well, you be careful, you might be yoinked as well. Be careful. Um, that could be it. That could be it. We hopefully this is it. Hopefully this is it. This is all is ambitions um reach, but who knows? This is a Rubio thing apparently. I don't know if you know about that. This is apparently a Rubio move
yeah,
that's been part of all this. So Rubio was one behind this apparently.
yeah,
Um so if they do go for another country, the most likelihood will
Cuba.
not be potentially Greenland, it'll be Cuba.
Yeah,
Because again, his I believe his family actually fled
yeah,
from
they did.
Cuba,
Castro
not from Chavez, but from the previous one, the fascist one that they had in
in
Cuba.
Cuba.
That yeah.
Fidel
So
Castro. No, you
yeah,
get mixed
no,
up
yeah,
with.
not yet, because Castro overthrew the
Oh,
the fascist one. I
yeah,
can't
El
remember
Bastardo.
yeah, that's the one. So yeah, his family fled from that regime, not the Castro one, but it'll be that seems to be the more likely target. If it is Rubio that is behind all this,
Batista.
then it is
I knew,
likely.
I knew it was like Bastardo or something. It's
Yeah,
Batista was the
yeah.
was the
I
fascist
couldn't
one.
remember. I knew it
He was
started with a B. I
backed by
just
the
couldn't remember
Yanks,
what it
though. I mean,
was.
the Yanks put him into power. But they, like the 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 rationale behind what Trump has done, because of the fact that it's been very difficult for people on the left to complain about this because Maduro was a fucking nightmare. And two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah,
Maduro was a nightmare. He absolutely
yeah,
was. But then it's still a violation of international norms dating back to at least 1648. You don't go into someone else's country and nick their leader. You just don't. That's just not the way it's done. When they're not the leader anymore, sure, getting deported.
yeah.
It's interesting now. Is he going to get deported back to? Anyway, Ms. Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Venezuela is awash with weapons. Violence has already started. The US will get bogged down with loads of US soldiers and oil workers dying. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, the US soldier thing, I don't think they're going to have any kind of invasion. But if they try and get these oil platforms, oil areas, whatever, oil fields back online, and don't forget, even the ones that are working need a lot of maintenance and a bit of TLC, they're going to have US soldiers protecting them. And if they die because some fucking lunatic with a Kalashnikov is, shooting from the hills,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, I
I,
mean, this is what is happening right now in Venezuela. There are armed gangs out there in Venezuela. Now,
mm,
apparently, these are backing the current government, I think. But
yeah, yeah,
this, a lot of people have said this. Like, what? Okay, you've nicked Nicolas Maduro. What's the next part? What's point two? What's point 10? What's point like 120? In this, you actually need to have a plan.
yeah,
And this has done nothing but potentially be a massive destabilizing factor.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to watch, I think, Venezuela and what happens there very closely. And hopefully it doesn't descend into, civil war, anarchy, God knows what potentially could happen elsewhere. Because that will create, again, a massive refugee crisis in
Yeah.
South America.
Yeah.
It will not be good on that front.
Well, refugees are actually good for fascists because it gives fascists an excuse to say, "Hey, vote for me. I'll get rid of all these foreigners coming into our country and being there." Tim Ballum, thank you very much for the £5 super chat, my friend. Trump will just go in and abduct the leaders and destroy CNC. What's CNC? Command and
Yeah.
Conquer.
Oh,
Listen.
oh no, have you seen this as well? It's Trump is accusing Maduro of trying to imitate and steal his dance.
Yes,
What?
they're wanking off the two sailors at the same time, Dan. Yeah.
I
Anyway,
know.
Tim's super chat triggered another confetti cannon. So here we go again. 3, 2, 1. Confetti. Mark 2. Awesome. Ernie Byrne says drones have taken down modern warships. That is very true. Blue Badger, I've seen a video of a village having a gunfight with the military or some guys in uniform in Iran this week. What's going on there? Sounds a bit crazy, to be honest. Iran is suffering a lot at the moment because they're running out of water. There's just no fucking water. And they're going to have to start moving people out of these cities, especially Tehran, the capital. And yeah, I think that things are kicking off. Davinator said it's all been downhill since Bowie died. Yeah, 10 years ago this month, Bowie died. It's been a bit shit since then. They showed a lot of pictures from the World Cup and said the people were happy with what happened. Yeah, from Paul saying, yeah, they showed pictures of Venezuelans celebrating for the World Cup and went, look, they're happy. No, there are Venezuelans who are genuinely happy that Maduro is gone, but they do not want to be ruled by American imperialistic fucking. I mean, it's not even imperialism. It's just theft, isn't it? It's conquistadors. It's the new age of the conquistadors. There's gold in them there hills. And America's doing exactly what it did with the North Dakota people when they said, oh, you can have North Dakota. You can have that place for yourselves. There's nothing up there. And the people who lived there were like, okay, the Dakota tribe. And then a few years later, they found gold. And they went, hey, we said you could have this area for yourself. Well, we lied. So yeah, no, typical Americans. Really, really quite grim. And cats are just acting weird now, says Pete's Music, which is good to know. It all went downhill when that toddler entered a gorilla enclosure. What was the name of the gorilla?
Harambe.
Harambe.
Yeah.
It's all since Harambe got shot. That was someone from the future came back from the future to fuck things up for the present by shooting Harambe, we think. Yeah. So there are videos coming in from Iran of protesters. We've seen footage of security forces clashing with protesters, and it's nationwide protests are growing as there's more demonstrations. More young women are taking off their headscarves, and it looks like the old guard in Iran is losing its power.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they are still,
they have a lot of power themselves. It's if there is a revolution, it will be very, very messy. That will be civil war, which could potentially be another, maybe even a Syria situation. I think if it goes that way,
I really hope not.
One of the worst things that's sort of happened is Trump saying, "Oh well, don't worry, I'll come in." And I will protect protesters. If you attack protesters, I will, I will bomb you. Now, in a way, okay, I don't like it. I don't like it. But he is, promising to protect protesters. But then, what if, this eggs on the protesters? There is, a violent repression, and then, Trump doesn't get involved. It's very, very likely to. I honestly hope that they do somewhat relinquish power in this way. I do hope there is at least an easing of a lot of the powers on this. I know that they're apparently going to try and like attempt to try and like fix inflation. Apparently they're doing something about that recently. They've just announced in response to these protests. But this is again something we're gonna have to see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully this could go right. And hopefully this doesn't turn into potentially another Syria. Because that is might how it could how it might go possibly. Hopefully not, but that is a possibility. And there are a lot of destabilizing factors potentially in and around that area that could, pop up again. There's potential, Taliban, could get involved in there potentially. ISIS may make a resurgence there. Who knows? A civil war, Syrian civil war type situation in Syria could get not in Syria, in Iran could get very, very, very messy. Indeed.
Yeah. So Umka, thank you very much for the €10. Americans intervene in the neighboring countries, create chaos. Refugees flee to the US. The Americans vote against migrants, elect morons. They make more mess, more refugees. Americans more angry. Yeah. Umka, you're absolutely right. That is the cycle. And it's one of the reasons why Putin and Trump are driving the world towards more and more climate catastrophe. And as quick as possible, they're trying to dig out as much oil out the ground, sell it for peanuts so people use it and burn it for no reason, to go nowhere, just to drive around in circles, because they want to accelerate the heating up of the planet, because they know that once we hit some certain tipping points in the next few years, it's going to create millions of refugees. Refugees are fantastic for the fash. They absolutely, refugees are gold dust to the fash. They fucking love them. So U.S. Californian Republican Representative Doug McMalfa has died, and in Indiana Republican Jim Byrd was injured in a car accident, and it means that their already slim majority of the GOP decreases down to just one seat. One seat. The GOP majority is at 219 seats. And no, with Byrd, that eroded down to 218. My God. So that gives it gives them next to no margin for defections on any kind of partisan bills. That's on a knife edge now, thanks to
that could be interesting this year. That could be very, very interesting. And of course, we've got midterms as well. So yeah, it could be a very interesting year in America as well.
It could be. Tim, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Have the Republicans lost the majority today? Nearly, very, very nearly. It's. But the thing is, they will have a special election, won't they?
Yep.
So they'll probably get another Republican in. But you never know.
I don't know. I think you look at the polls and how much like the Republicans have now, like, in absolute turmoil at the moment. I think it could be a very blue year. Fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah. There's also in Washington today, to mark the 5th anniversary of all those Capitol Police officers being killed and injured by the praying mob of Trump voters. A praying mob of Trump voters have gone to Washington to celebrate that happening. And police officers being killed.
Do you know what the campaigning for? Do you know why they're trying to do this?
Because they're cunts.
Well, yeah, but this is all about Ashley Babbitt, right?
Yes.
They want the guy who shot Ashley Babbitt. They want him to be put on trial for murder.
Wow, that's a bit rich.
And you're like, hold on. If you review the whole situation, they were constantly warning, saying, "Hey, don't break the glass." Okay, warning, you've broken the glass. You can even hear in the videos them saying that. what you're doing, don't come through the, don't come through the entrance. Don't come through the entrance. We will shoot if you come through the entrance. Oh,
Yeah.
they were very explicit.
Yeah.
Because you've got to remember, right? There's a lot of people forget. There was that little barricade, and if they had broken through that barricade, down that hall was a bunch of congressmen and men and women with gas masks on.
Yeah.
Trapped there.
Yeah.
What would have happened had they?
They would have been killed. They would. That's what they went in. They went in to
God knows
murder
what would have happened.
Those elected people, including Trump's vice president.
God knows what would
Mike
happen if
Pence.
they'd actually found a like a congressperson or even someone who worked there.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing. Ms. Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the £20 super chat. It's very kind of you. Thank you. The other thing about Iran is that this is all caused by climate change. The water for Tehran was drawn from a very large lake to the west. That lake collapsed due to a combination of road project and a drought. Climate change is going to accelerate problems all over the world. They will be different depending on where you are. It's very likely that while it causes the Sahel to become completely desertification, it's also going to cause the shortage of water in one place. It's going to cause floods in another. It's going to cause Britain perhaps to get a lot colder because AMOC is going to fucking shut down. And it's going to cause other countries to get a lot hotter. So you won't be able to spend more than 5 minutes at a time outside in countries like the UAE or Saudi Arabia, which are already god-awfully hot at the best of times. It's just, it's really, really, really grim. Pence was in the underground car park by then, If the baying mob had attacked Parliament like that, there would have been hundreds shot. Yeah.
Oh no, they wouldn't have even made it past like the entrance.
Yeah.
Like the security of Parliament is like you have like the outside of Parliament. If anyone like forces their way past there, it's like right, weapons out, weapons drawn.
Yeah,
they don't mess about.
That was quite surprising that they didn't just start shooting everyone. If the people trying to break in had been black or Muslims, they would have shot them. Because they were all podgy white people. They were like, oh no, it's podgy white people.
The problem was that they hadn't actually ever planned for such an eventuality, and they didn't actually know at what point do they draw their weapons. It was always left up to like the individual officers to like decide. That's why like Babbitt got shot where she did, because they decided, right, we are not falling back past this point. We have our guns out. We are, if anyone comes past there, we are opening fire. So that was left up to their like discretion. That has apparently changed now since that. So there has been a little bit of improvement.
Yeah, but now they'll be protecting Trump, won't they? So when he decides to do it again, which he probably will. One Angry Pagan's correcting me because when I said AMOC, I actually said Gulf Stream. Because people love to correct you when you say the Gulf Stream's going to shut down. They go, it's not the Gulf Stream. It's the Atlantic. What is it? it's the
Atlantic Gulf Stream. Yeah.
No, it's the Atlantic. What's it called? Mediterranean. No. Mendelssohn. It's the Arabic Mendelssohn O'Connor. That's what it stands for. AMOC. But go on, why you retracted your message? Playing fair now. Gonna be like that. Take me toys away. Right, we're gonna have to wrap up, my friends, because it is 8:30, and we need to tell everyone to go and say hi to our friend Maximilian over on Maximilian's channel. He's just started his live stream, so if you continue watching this channel, you will automatically go over to Max's. When you get over there, say Graham and Ollie say hi, or Politics Social say hi, or Invasion, or something like that. That'd be great. I'll be back at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning for Morning Brew. Big thank you to my wonderful co-host, Ollie Bowlerhatman, and thank you for watching. Thanks for the super chats, really kind of you. Give us a like on the way out, and until next time, hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.
Bye.
AMOC.